Good evening and welcome to the Commission on Disabilities October 9th meeting. If we could please stand for the saluting of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first order of business is I will do a roll call of the members. Rick Frenny?
Present.
Michelle DeBellis?
Present.
Enza Goodwin?
Present.
Robert Bent?
Present.
And Ralph DeChico present. We have a full board as of active members. Next is item 1 is if someone can make a motion to approve the minutes from the September 11, 2018 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All right. So the first item that we are going to discuss is we have Michael Hinojosa, the Director of the Revere Parks and Recreation. He's going to come up. He graced us with his presence tonight to discuss some present information regarding programs, goals, and update us on matters of concerns for the Commission on Disabilities. So, Michael, if you could come up, I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. And if you just think that.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. So I can give us a really quick update. We had a meeting today with special needs. Went very, very well. Special Olympics, thank you. So I think starting in January, we're going to kind of pick up where Jen and Enza left off, and we're going to run the young adults program, young athletes program from 2 years to 7 years old. So we're going to haven't talked to the Paul Revere School yet because we just had the meeting at 3 o'clock today, but I think we're going to try to run it out of the Paul Revere. I don't think there are any conflicts over there because we don't really rent the gym out. So we'll go from young adults. I think we're going to try to run it on Saturdays for an hour, hour and a half, and then follow that up with a basketball program for ages 8 to 22 plus. So I think they broke it up into 3 age groups for me. So depending on how many kids we get, what we're hoping to do is run that basketball program for the older kids and then sign them up for the Special Olympic tournaments that they do have. So we'll do some in-house stuff for 8 weeks. They'll play against each other, hopefully have enough kids that, we can break them up by age group. If not, they'll kind of all play together, and then we'll take one team and we'll send them to the Special Olympics. And so that was kind of how that ended today. So take us about 2 months to get everything up and running and off the ground, and they're going to send me some support, and we're trying to find someone to that will be able to be there every Saturday and spearhead it.
Now, so the basketball will happen at the same time in conjunction, or at a later date?
Nope, same time. So the young athletes are gonna run 8 weeks. So that'll be ages 2 to 7. So we'll try to run it as a basketball program, as a skills and drills, but we'll be doing some other stuff with them too. Like they're going to lay out a plan for me, but because we have to rent the gym out in 3-hour blocks, it just fits right. So that rather than going there for an hour and still having to pay for the 3 hours, we can go there for the young athletes from 11 to 12:30, and then bring in basketball from 12:30 to 2 o'clock, so that we fill up the 3 hours and we're not wasting money.
Anyone have any questions on that?
Mike, thanks for coming and sharing the information. So we had young athletes in the past through Special Olympics, and my only suggestion, an hour and a half might be too long of a time for the little ones because they are so young. So one thing that we had done in the past was to utilize that 3-hour block is to maybe set up time for volunteers to come early, check them in, check in the families, and then maybe to do the same with the basketball piece, is to maybe offer a snack or a beverage to our volunteers, because the volunteers that commit to it, it is a pretty big commitment, especially on a Saturday, so maybe to use the time, the extra time that way. That's just a minor suggestion. In terms of supplies and materials, will Special Olympics provide us shirts and things like that, as they have in the past, or are we?
So, yes, so they have, obviously, you know, they have quite a great support group. For the young athletes, they have a starter kit, which they will provide for us. I would find it hard to believe that at the rec right now that we don't have additional equipment to help enhance that starter kit. Whatever we need, I think Parks and Recreation is prepared to just go out and get it, have it.
When we did the Young Athletes Program, Jen Duggan and myself, we developed weekly plans.
Yep.
We still have those saved, so if you guys decide that you want to follow those plans, since they're already laid out, you're welcome to them, unless you guys want to come up with your own. But the 8-week plan is pretty consistent with what they offer, so.
So if you have the plan, I mean, I'd love to
Yeah,
have it.
it's
Eric
broken
told me that,
down.
yeah, he would provide me with another 8-week plan.
Okay.
Just so I don't know if anything's changed, but, you know, we'll take a look at both plans and see what we can incorporate. As far as the hour and a half is concerned, again, I'm just trying, I'd like to fill in the 3-hour block, so, and give these kids as much as they can handle, or as little as they can handle. So if it's an hour, it's an hour. If it's 45 minutes, it's 45 minutes. But I would just like to have a couple other pieces in place so that we can,
Right. And
you know.
do you think you guys over at the rec on your new website, you can start not taking registrations now, but kind of like a to be announced or a coming attraction kind of thing to let parents know?
Absolutely. Yes. Yep.
And then if you want, I now created the Commission on Disabilities Facebook page, so anything you could send to me, and then I can also link it onto the Commission on Disabilities Facebook page.
Perfect. You'll share our stuff. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds
The other question that I do have is, now with the equipment, is the equipment going to be housed at one location, or does that still logistically have to be planned out, or?
That's all logistically have to be planned
Okay.
out, whether we're taking everything every Saturday and bringing it back to the recreation center, or that Paul Revere has a little storage space that we can use. Some of our other programs at other schools that are a little bigger, like at SBA, like I do so much basketball there that we have 2 cages of, you know, probably 80 to 100 basketballs just to run those programs out of there, but kind enough and big enough of a space where they let us use it. So I'm not all that familiar with Paul Revere and how much space that they have. And,
Tight.
Not much?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it.
Hey, I just want to clear something here. So the Special Olympics Young Athletes is 2 to 7 for 8 weeks. And we're also going to do 8 and up from like the second hour and a half for that session, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And it's all going to be, it's all the basketball program we're going to work on to start off with.
So the first thing I think that we'll do is the basketball program. It seems, it fits into the Special Olympics, what they're doing in the winter. So from January to March, they run their basketball program. And then in March, they have a couple of tournaments that we can go and play in. So once March ends, then we'll roll into flag football. They have quite an extensive list of programs that they could run. So.
Anyone else have any other questions?
So we're just talking Special Olympics right now then? Okay.
Yeah, just the Special Olympic program right now.
Can I ask a question beyond Special Olympics, or are we just, okay. So I guess my next question or point would be, I noticed on the website that you are already offering programming during Christmas vacation week. I don't see anything available for kids with different abilities, different needs. I know there's the disclaimer on the website or in the flyer that says children of all abilities are welcome. But as a parent, I would be hesitant to sign up my son for some of these programs only because I don't think he could handle it. Is there any way to get a program, not even a program, but an activity available during that week's time so that all my kids could participate in? I know 2 of them could, 1 of them would not be able to.
Sure. So, like everything that we do at Parks and Recreation, there's obviously stuff that we have to talk about. Like from a Parks and Recreation standpoint, this is our first go around with this after years of parents kind of handling this stuff. So this isn't I'm certainly not perfect at this, so I'm trying to learn especially from you guys, so we can handle as much as we can handle without being, you guys have known me for a long time. We're really short-staffed there, so I think programming in general, we're just about at capacity as to where we can all be at one particular time. So with that said, Ricky's approached me with, half a dozen events that we would really like to get off of the ground and have yearly events with, wrapped around soccer, baseball, and have one-off events that I think would be really good for the kids. I think we've discussed that. So from a Christmas standpoint, any ideas that you have that you would like us to kind of incorporate, I'd be more than willing to add something to our Christmas list if you can maybe come up with something.
Sure.
Yeah.
If I can, Enza, you may know, are the schools going to be running a camp?
No, as far as I know.
Not for the Christmas one, they just do it during the vacation, like they did the April vacation, because that may be something we may want to look into. I know last year they had vacation camps, some of the schools. They would have a STEM camp or whatnot. Maybe we talk to the special ed and see if they could possibly run a camp.
What we're trying to do for February and April vacation is just that, run a full day camp just like we do in the summer for the 1 week.
Yeah, because
So
last year the schools did one, I believe, right? Was it the schools? Like I know the Paul Revere, they did one April vacation. It was a STEM camp. So did the rec center didn't do those last year?
We did not do that.
This is going to be the
last
first year, so I think the school systems ran some over the vacation weeks. So that may be something we may want to look into too, to see if there's any grants or anything for the special ed to do something from the special ed department for those kids also.
Yeah.
Since we don't have the capabilities with the rec center, and they're with them all year round. They know their needs.
Yeah, great idea. Sure.
Mike, I just want to say, I appreciate you coming down here, and I know we spoke, and we did it before I got sick, we had those events. But it's not fair to us and say, what else can you do for us for these special ed kids? We know you're not special ed teachers down there, and no one has special ed background. You're staff in the Department for Parks and Recs, and we're just trying to do the best we can for our kids and the families with kids with disabilities. With that being said, I know you'll be able to provide fields, parks, and equipment, and we have to provide you direction to this, because you don't know, but this is not your forte. This is, we've been doing this for years, growing up with this stuff, having children of our own with autism and other disabilities. So I think, yeah, we'll keep working up here together and ask you, can we do this? And obviously we have to provide volunteers and provide you with some direction which way we want to go with this. And obviously we'll all be there, and we'll have support, whether it's teachers and parents, guardians, whatever. So we'll definitely make this work. This is a lot of stuff we've been throwing at you the last few months. Mike, can you do this? Mike, can you do that? Mike, we need this. And this is all just special ed. It's not even the general ed. So we appreciate it. I know it's a work in progress, but I think, going a year from now, we look back, we're like, wow, we did a lot of stuff this last 12 months with Mike Hinojosa. So I appreciate it, and we'll keep your best foot forward, and we'll get this thing going on track sooner than later.
Well, I appreciate those kind words too on top of it, but just know that, Mayor Brian Arrigo, Revere Parks and Recreation, I mean, this is we're certainly trying to make this a priority like for any child. I mean, that's what we're doing. It's not just general ed kids, it's just we want everything to be for everybody. It's what can we do, whether it's opening up a half hour for touch a truck or, it just, we want to be all inclusive. We're trying to be all inclusive. Again, what we do really well, basketball leagues and classes and stuff like that, we have to just figure out a way to make this great. I'm here tonight to tell you that
If it was all inclusive for 20 years, we wouldn't be having this issue right now, and that's not your fault or the current administration's fault. This is just something I've been trying to do for a long, long time, and I'm glad we finally have the right people in place to make this happen, so thank you.
Thank you.
Just one other question. I don't know if you reach out to other communities. Do you know of any other nearby parks and recs that have instilled any programs for special ed students, or that we could reach out as a motto or as an outline to get some suggestions and whatnot? Anybody else in here that knows of?
In talking to Eric today, who does the Special Olympics, it seems as if Belmont does it pretty good. They're probably the closest place that, so I think that's on our list of things to do, kind of reach out to Belmont, figure out what they're doing. Again, Special Olympic-wise, Eric really thought that Revere was a really good place to get started. So there's nothing really that's close to here from a Special Olympics standpoint. So, but part of our conversation today, it was Belmont. That's the closest place, and they seem to do it reasonably well. So,
If you need any help reaching out to them, please let me know. And, as I'm not sure if they even have their Commission on Disabilities involved with them, but just let me know.
thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions? Michelle?
So the Touch a Truck was great.
Yeah.
I went, my son had a ball, we went a half an hour early. The only issue was it wasn't advertised. So I don't think enough special ed parents or parents that have any children at all abilities knew. Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't know of the time, the half-hour time slot, the sensory free. So I'm guessing, and what I'm saying is, if you could have that advertised more so that parents do know. It was kind of last minute word by mouth, Jen, myself, and so we were scrambling, trying to tell parents the day before, yeah, there will be a sensory time slot. So maybe for the upcoming Halloween fest that you guys are doing, if you could maybe offer that again, just a sensory time ahead of time.
Yep.
And then advertise it so the parents do know. It's just really helpful because a lot of kids with sensory overload just can't handle. They can't handle it when it's overload, too crowded, it's too much.
And that's where we can come out too and
Yeah.
put it on the Commission on Disabilities
Yeah.
Facebook, and we can get it on the mayor's page.
Yeah, because
And do
just
things like
doing
that
that half hour
anytime.
at these events is really perfect for a lot of those kids. They get in, they get to experience, and then they get out.
Yep.
But they still get to go.
So like anything else, I just want to make sure that that you're always just reaching out to me. Sometimes I get things maybe secondhand or something like that. But if you need something, make sure that you're reaching out to me so that we can provide that. Or if you have a thought, an idea, or like I said, the thought of a half hour before Fright Night hadn't really crossed my mind at this moment in time. Now, I'll leave here, I'll think about how this could possibly work. Can I get set up early? Can I keep the general public away?
That's the key.
So there's some logistical thing, but now that it's out there, we can at least work on it, right?
Mike, I just want to say one more thing and I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. When former Mayor Rizzo, his administration, we did start a few of the Kids of All Ability events with Council Dan Rizzo's administration, who was mayor, so I just want to make sure I didn't leave that out. We did start it with that, and then unfortunately, some things came up we can't control in life, for me, but we'll get back on it with and it's nice to be up here on the commission with a bunch of caring people, so we'll get things done, and we get the best in the business at our Parks and Rec, so thanks, Mike, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
You know, the other thing from a school standpoint, I think we have to get back to the high school. I mean, Matt Nazaro was a huge asset to us. I mean, we emailed all the time, back and forth, and now that he's gym teacher, I think Rumney Marsh, right? Is it Rumney? Yeah. Who has taken over for him, we just really quite haven't found the same niche yet, but we will. We will.
So if I may, so our CPAC liaison to the school district is Jackie Roy. She's a preschool teacher over at Beachmont. She's been doing a lot of the behind the scenes, trying to contact people, and we are definitely aware that Matt is not available. He's available on a consult kind of basis, and he's been great in offering us guidance. But you're right, we definitely need a high school person that's available. Many of the people that are up there, they're great, but they're new to the district, new to the program, and they're not exactly sure what to do. So
Right.
we're trying.
We want events that we're serving, not necessarily 3 kids, but 40 kids. And we can go back to that Children of All Abilities baseball game. I think we had it a couple of times. I mean, there were 40, 50 kids there. I mean, those are the type of events. And we want to make sure that the word is out there. And I think that's where I need your help, because I'm not sure how to
And I think
get there.
it's, honestly, I think it's a struggle citywide at this point. I mean, we're seeing it with Little League, that people aren't signing up as many as they had in the past, and same thing with Pop Warner. In those cases, I think oftentimes it's a financial burden. In this case, it's not. We're offering a lot of our programs for free, and not only for free, but we have volunteers available that are generally one-on-one. We're offering food and beverages as well. I mean, so we're providing a lot as a city. We just need more people, and I don't know how else to get people to.
We literally sit once a week, meet about our social media and, what we've done really well, what we haven't done so well. The most frustrating part of my job is when somebody comes up to me and says, I had no idea that you did this. This is wonderful. This is, I stumbled across it. Like, I don't know how much more to put on Facebook,
Right.
Instagram, social media. We email the principals now, so our flyers go on their Twitter account. Like, I don't know
What else to, right?
what else to do when people tell me that they didn't know I ran basketball, and we're the only people doing basketball, in the city for 40 years, and they don't know Parks and Rec is doing. I'm just.
Right,
So I don't.
right.
Yeah.
It's not you. Being around, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I've been around special ed since, 15 months old. Little Ricky's now 23 and a half, so been around special ed a lot. And 9 out of 10 times, it's, back then, it wasn't communication so much, where the parents just didn't, or the guardians just didn't want to take the kid out. Once the kid came home, the child came home, they just didn't want to leave the house. And that's how it was in the 90s and in the, in the early 2000s when Ricky was in school, until he graduated, 5 years ago. So hopefully parents, guardians, grandparents, whoever responsible for the child in the afternoons is able to take them to these events. But the word was out, and back then we were able to hand out flyers and let everyone know, here's what's happening, here's what's going on. And, kids just weren't, showing up for events and things. Now, and when Dan was mayor, we got the word out. We were able to send everything out via flyers, not even Twitter, via flyer, and everyone was showing up. We had, like you said, 40, 50 kids to these. So I think it's the Twitter thing. I think sending the thing to the Twitter, to Josh Vidala, and then sending it out to all their teachers, and how they get it home to the children. I'm a big fan of the paper. I'm old school, but I have the Twitter, the Facebook, all that other stuff, but there's always a flyer in my daughter's backpack or in Mickey's backpack when he was in school. That's the first thing I'd look at, and that's how a lot of the parents back then were aware of those Kids of All Ability events, not from the papers, not from the newspaper, not from social media, you know, from flyers in the backpack. But I know they want to get rid of that.
It's not that they want to get rid of it, and Enza and Michelle can probably contest to it. A lot of parents don't check the backpacks anymore.
They don't, it's
They,
either
they
they're
don't.
missing it or
They're
it
missing
could
it.
be a
They're not.
language.
I don't know. It's not a knock on today's society. I don't know if the parents are too busy, but a lot of parents are not as involved, and they miss a lot of the announcements that get put in there. So I can see why that they're trying to get away from the paper, because it's out there and it's not getting.
I think it's just
getting
not in
used.
there in the right place.
We have
You
in
need
the schools, they have
journals.
folders. No, they do. They have.
They have the
folders,
journals,
they have
parents supposed to check the
folders and
journals, see how the
journals.
kid's day went,
I
and
mean,
it's right in there.
Mike, I refer this back to you. No, I know. I don't think it's, I hate to say it, I also don't think a lot know what they need to do. I think you might see it at the sports, like when they show up and they don't have their equipment or what they need, and they're looking at these volunteer coaches like, well, my son needs a glove or my son needs a bat. I mean, I just think there's a huge disconnect these days of what the role of the parent is supposed to be and what the responsibility of the parent is supposed to be. And I say that as a very active mother, so I stand by my words. It's one thing if it's financial, it's another if it's common sense. And unfortunately for some, the common sense piece has drifted away.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I'm not here to
Yeah.
beat parents up, but, you know, even from us, we don't have a huge budget. We don't have a choice but to charge for half of our
Right.
programs, or, you know, whether it's $5, whether it's $100 for basketball. But I will say this, and hopefully a lot of people are listening, but, you know, we have that motto, no child left behind. I've never gone on a field trip without a kid who couldn't afford to pay for the field trip. We have a very private financial aid form now that people can fill out. And as long as they're filling it out, I mean, they're eligible for, you know, discount on anything that we offer. So, you know, on the disability side, we do everything for free. So there's no excuse for people not to be involved and not to be showing up. And I agree. Some of the onus falls on the parent. They have to ask questions, you know. Where can I do this? But they don't, and that's kind of what the problem is. So.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything else?
Yeah.
It actually all goes hand in hand too, and you know, it's still, you might think it's going off track, but it actually isn't. The other thing too is, you know, a lot of our disabled youth, it's more, a lot of that we want to do is we want them to be able to socialize more. Or we want them, you know, it doesn't have to be activities or sporting. It could be just social hour times, meeting up and just play groups or what, things like that. That was one of our things with the art thing. We were hoping that we could get some high school kids to volunteer to come with the art program so they can interact with children with disabilities, and they can mingle with them and help out. So it's a social aspect that we want to see too. So it doesn't have to be team geared or anything like that too. Just social hours and things of that nature. But anything is possible.
Right. So we, Special Olympics and for a lot of our CPAC programming, we go through the high school, through the guidance counselors and the assistant principals, and they send out our message, and then the students contact us privately, and when they come out to our events, we sign off and we give them community service hours. So we've had a lot of luck with that. Yeah.
Yes, and I can sign off on community service hours too, so they accept them from Parks and Recreation. So we do a lot of that too. I'm actually hoping, which I haven't talked to either basketball coach yet, but hoping that from a Special Olympics standpoint that we do get some support from the basketball team. So.
Anyone have anything else for Michael?
No, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Pleasure
Really
to be here.
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having us.
Okay, the next item on the agenda was going to be Jen Duggan, but unfortunately she's unable to come. But Michelle is gonna take it over for us and give us a little bit of information on CPAC, the CPAC program, so parents and caretakers will know a little bit about that and upcoming events that are coming up.
So Revere CPAC, our next meeting will be on October 15th. It'll be at 6 o'clock. It's going to take place at Revere High, and it's going to be a basic rights meeting. It's usually about 2 hours, and we have a speaker come out. And it's a really informative meeting for parents and caregivers with any children of school age, whether it's elementary all the way to high school, if they're on an IEP or a 504 plan. So we're encouraging anyone that has a child on an IEP or a 504 in Revere to come on out to this meeting. And you just get a lot of feedback about what some of your rights are as a parent and an IEP team member for your child. We're also hosting, every month, we're trying to come up with a family event. It's for all ages, again, with any children on an IEP or a 504 plan. And this month coming up will be our Halloween event. It'll also take place, this one will be at the rec center. It'll be on Monday, I believe it's the 29th. It's at 5:45 p.m. And this will be for children up to the age of 14. It's a free family event, and we're encouraging families to come. There'll be pizza and drinks, waters, juices for the children, activities. We'll have trick-or-treat bags that the kids are going to create, and then give out candy, and they can come in costume if they like. It'll be a good time for all. And what we're hoping with Revere CPAC this year is to get a lot of parents more on board, coming to the meetings once a month. We have a Twitter page, Revere CPAC. We also have a Facebook page, which is also Revere CPAC. And we're listing events and different things that we have going on. And it's just a really important thing, I think, for parents to be on board, come to these meetings and get a sense of what their role is as far as school and teachers and being part of their IEP team.
Do you want to talk about the dance junction, and then I'll go back to the other? Okay.
So I'm happy to announce that Row, Row, Row Revere has once again sponsored a program at the Dance Junction in Saugus. This is going to be a program, actually, instead of dance, it's going to be a fitness program once a week on Saturdays, and it's at no cost to the families. It's for children ages 5 through 9. It's going to start this Saturday, and it's going to run through June. Right now, there is still some space if parents want to contact the Dance Junction in Saugus and sign up, and then once it's full to capacity, they can be placed on a waiting list, but it's free, and it's going to run to June, and I'm very excited. The dance instructor, Lauren Angelo, and her team all have special ed backgrounds, and I'm really excited to see where it goes with the kids.
Thank you. One other thing that I am going to officially announce, I know it's been in the Revere papers. Thank you, Rick, for getting that done. And it's been posted up everywhere. The all-inclusive arts program is going to be beginning on Thursday, October 25th. We're going to be having a 6-week program. It's going to be on Thursday nights from 6:30 to 7:30. The rec center has graciously donated a space for us over there. One thing that we ask is you would have to pre-register for it. Space is very limited, and we would like, because space is being limited, we really would appreciate it that you being there for the first night, and you're registered. We hope that you can be there the first night, and since it's limited, we want you to be able to be at all 6 of the programs. We understand if you can't, but the reason being that we want signups is if somebody can't be there, it's limiting someone else from being able to take part in this 6-week program. So I know it is a commitment, but it's not that much of a commitment because it's a pilot program and we want to see how that it would work. So the first one is going to be Thursday, October 25th. Then the next one would be November 1st, November 8th, November 15th, November 29th, and November 6th. And the way you can pre-register, like I said, space is limited, so once we have the certain amount for the first class, then it's going to be closed off. So you could email us at disabilities@revere.org. You could call us at the Commission on Disabilities office. Just ask to leave us a message on the voicemail, which is area code 781-286-8267. And we also now have a Facebook page, which is the City of Revere Commission on Disabilities Facebook page. Then we can be reached there, and you can message us there with your information, and we'll get back to you. But once we have a certain amount, then it's going to be capped off. So we would appreciate it that if you sign up to be at the first class. It's a 6-week program. It's going to be Miss Diane and Friends has graciously volunteered her time for the art class. We're going to be doing some crafts, and hopefully if this goes well, we'll be able to possibly extend this in the springtime. And we're also looking for volunteers, so if you would like to volunteer your time for that 1 hour, you could also contact us by email or phone call or Facebook. And one other thing that I wanted to mention on this is not a drop-off, so parents or guardians are going to need to stay with their children. We ask that to help us with that, so that you could be with your child for the 1 hour for the class. I don't know if Rick or Robert wanted to add anything to that.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. So the class starts the 25th. We have some great projects, lighthouses and piggy banks and birdhouses and all kinds of crafts we're going to put together. All these can be done in under an hour. We're also going to paint them as well. We have dozens of projects lined up. We have enough for 12 to 15 students per class with an adult. So 12 kids, 12 adults, 24 people. Miss Diane Casanello, she will be running it with some support of her friends. I also have a little bit of an art background myself there, Mr. Commissioner, so I'll be in there dabbling in the old paint. It should be a good time. I do have 3 people who contacted me by seeing it in the Journal last week. So I do have 3 names, addresses, and ages we have to register as well. So we're off and running here for the all-inclusive art program, pilot program. I think it's going to be great. I want to thank my good buddy, Mr. Robert Bent, for help putting this thing together. Couldn't have done without you, buddy. And thank you, Mr. Commissioner, for ordering all the supplies. I'm assuming they'll be in soon. Okay. So that's all. So, folks, make sure you call up, log in, email, whatever you can do. Facegram, Twitter book, get it all in there, and we'll hope to see you and your children on October 25th. Thanks.
Did you want to speak? Okay. Okay. Next item on the agenda is item number 5 is just the CODA, the Commission on Disabilities Alliance monthly conference call meeting on Wednesday, October 3rd that I had. One thing that came up is one of the commission members from another town discussed that in her community. They're looking to make some of the bike lanes for certain hours during the day in areas to remove some handicap parking areas. So there was some discussions on that, so that they're looking into that. We don't have to worry about that in Revere. We have Julie Demaro who knows all about that, so she's working hard on that. So we had some discussions on that, and we gave some ideas that they possibly want to contact the DOT, and also if they have to do that, that those handicap parking spots should be moved around the corner in that community from where those spots were. What it is, the community is only parking on one side of that street anyway, so then those people wouldn't have anywhere to park. Another item that was discussions that we were informed that David DiArcangelo, who's the director of Mass Office of Disabilities, MOD, he was the one that came for that meeting that we had here. He was recently appointed by Governor Baker as a new commissioner, Massachusetts Commission for the Blind. So when I say we, CODA, we're looking at drafting a letter to send to the appropriate people and agencies in regards to their exploration and search for a new director at the MOD, so that they know what voicing our concerns and, you know, some of the criteria we would like to see that they look into with appointing a new commissioner at MOD, because it's going to be someone that each individual commissions from the towns and cities are going to be working with. So that's one of the items that we're going to be working on. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or any concerns on that. The next is old business. We're going to table this as the continued discussion on the ideas for the COD subcommittees and duties. And also, I had spoken to the mayor's office with the automatic door openers, and we're still waiting on that. So that's going to be tabled. The late item, I have late items. I did receive 2 correspondence from 2 residents in the community who are interested in possibly joining the Commission on Disabilities. So Human Resources is working on that to get the process going on that. So hopefully that will be coming hopefully within the next meeting or 2. So hopefully we'll have 2 more members and we'll have a full commission. So that will help. I don't know if anyone else has any other late items that they'd like to discuss.
It's not a late item, I just was in the hallway when the topic of CPAC had come up. I don't know if you mentioned this, so if you did, my apologies. We're having a Halloween party on the 29th, and we're looking for all right, we're looking for candy donations, so if there's anybody out there that's watching, Roro to Revere has sponsored and paid for a lot of our items, and in addition, they're paying for pizza and drinks, and they've done an amazing job supporting us. We just need maybe a little more in terms of candy donations. We have some, but more would be great. So if there's anybody watching who could get us a bag or 2, that would be
Can we
terrific.
throw that out there to our Revere City Council, school committee members, and administration?
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you hear this,
Yeah, that
if
would
you
be
could all,
great.
if we could have every one of you donate a bag, that would be beautiful.
Yeah, that would be exciting. But thank you, yeah, sorry.
So number 8, the open forum, we can skip on that. So next steps, there really isn't any next steps until we get some committee members, and we know we're working with Michael Hinojosa with the Special Olympics, so really we don't have any next steps for right now.
Nothing, just preparing for the next big thing we're doing is the art class, the art inclusive thing, and then which is immediately after that Monday is the kids' Halloween party. So lots of good stuff coming up there, Mr. Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay. And item number 10 is just a basic reminder, the Commission on Disabilities office hours are on Fridays from 8:15 to 12:15 in the Veteran Service Office, which is located in the rear of the Legion Building, 249 Broadway, which is next door here to City Hall. You can call for an appointment, but you do not need one. You can walk in. You can also call our office at area code 781-286-8267. And you can leave a voicemail. What you will do is you would get the Revere 311 constituents office, and you will be speaking to someone in person. They probably will be able to answer a lot of your questions, but if not, you can ask them to transfer you to our voicemail, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. You won't have to wait till our Friday hours, regional hours. And also, please let us know if you'd like anything discussed on our next month's agenda, either in person, or we could just add it and we could bring it up, so you do not have to come and speak on it. And remember, the Commission on Disabilities is here for the residents and families in the city of Revere, so without your needs and concerns, we wouldn't be here to serve you, so please do not hesitate. Also, we have the surveys still for people, the disabled accessibility surveys. You could download them from our website. I will also going to try and upload them to our Facebook page, which is the City of Revere Commission on Disabilities Facebook page, that they can be downloaded or they can be picked up at the Commission on Disabilities office, even Monday through Friday, even when we're not there on Fridays. Veterans Services will know where they are and they can give one to everyone. And that should be all that I have for monthly reminders. Our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, November 13th at 6 p.m. Make sure you get out and vote on November 7th. November 6th. Everybody get out and vote. And if you go November 7th, it won't count, Mr. Frenny told me. If I can have a motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn.
and a second,
I'll second it.
and have a good night, and happy Halloween. And don't forget, if you can donate that candy. Thank you.